My name is Kat, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome to a new video. If you're wondering about the hair and outfit, I'm going to an event later today that is like ancient Rome themed, so that's why this is a thing. I'm not really sure that I'm totally happy with the hair, like it didn't really turn out the way that I'd hoped, but it's fine enough, I guess. Um, anyway, the day that you're seeing this, or at least if you're watching it as it on the day that it's like uploaded, it'll be my birthday and I will turn 20. So I asked some people to send me a little clip of themselves. Um, one, recommending me a book, and two, give me some life advice in my 20s. And people did, and I'm so happy about it. Like, there are some people that I've talked about quite a lot and that I consider friends, like I've talked on Discord, etc., etc. And then there are also a couple, I asked a few channels that I just love watching, but I haven't really necessarily interacted with a lot. Like, I've commented on their videos and stuff like that, but like really talking to them, I haven't really done. And they also all said yes, which is really cool. So I'll share the clips with you and talk a little bit about them. I'm also going to go in no particular order. Just what happens, happens. So let's get into it. The first one is by a friend of mine, Tori, over at the channel Tori. I'll link all the channels who send something in the description. But she has been pretty important in my, like YouTube time, because I got to know her through a readathon I participated in, the TBR Blitz readathon. She was the host for the Beating Up Barbarians, which was a team that I was on, and we truly got to know each other through that. And then I joined her Discord and we chatted some more, and she, like, through that I gotten to know a couple people, and I truly like found more confidence in making booktube friends. So thank you, Tori. I wouldn't be where I am right now without you. So let's see what she has to say.
Hi Kat, it's Tori. So thanks for having me be part of this project. The book recommendation that I'm going to give you is The Girl with Seven Names by Han-So Lee. This is one of the few books that I feel very confident recommending to pretty much everybody. I think that Han-So Lee's story is incredibly powerful and shows the resilience of the human spirit and just kind of gives insight into what some people in the world are still living through, and I just think it's an incredible read. So this is my book recommendation for you. In terms of advice as you go into your 20s, this is your first decade of adulthood, and there's going to be so many big things that you experience in your 20s, and as you try to figure out what adulthood looks like for you and what your life looks like going forward, there's so many big things that come up, and as adults we have to deal with so many big changes and transitions and decisions and all of those things, and it can get really overwhelming and it can get really stressful. And I just want to remind you to always take a breath and to recognize that each of these decisions, transitions, events, incidents, anything that happens is a moment, and it can be overcome you can move on, you can learn from it, take every opportunity to learn from the things that you're going through, no matter if they're positive or negative, and always remember that anything can be overcome and you can move forward and learn. So that's my advice as you're going through your 20s. I wish you absolutely all the best, and thanks for asking me to be part of this.
Lovely. The Girl with Seven Names. I do like Tori reads a lot of indie fantasy, but then after that, the genre that I associate with her the most is like these hard-hitting memoirs. So yeah, I'll give that a try. I have heard of this book, and I have been sort of mildly interested in reading a book about this topic at some point. So I'll definitely try this one out. And yeah, the life advice. Things are just moments, which is something that I maybe sometimes need to hear. I sometimes struggle with decisions because I want to make the right decision, and then I overthink, and then I take it too seriously, and I don't know what to do. But so maybe, yes, maybe it's good to sometimes realize that it's only one moment, and I can, like, it won't be the rest of my life. Anyway, thank you so much, Tori, for being part of this, and for just being my friend, I guess. The next one is by a fellow Belgian booktuber, Cleo, over at the channel Bemused Bookworm. She has a great channel. I really like her channel. She'd Gun Please during a series where she reads your physical TBR all at once, which is a series that I've been very much enjoying. And I've kind of enjoyed making her life a little bit harder, because she sometimes asks for little punishments if she doesn't hit her weekly goal, which I have been finding very fun. But so yeah, let's see what she sent me. I asked for like a 1 to 2 minute clip. Cleo went over it by much, but actually I don't think like half of the people kept it under 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna put the full thing in.
Hey Kat, happy birthday! I hope you are having a lovely day surrounded by those you love and hopefully doing at least some of the things that you love doing and eating some of the food that you love eating. I am here to give you some advice about your 20s. I think the 20s are a lovely time in your life. I think the teenage years can definitely be years in which there is quite a lot of insecurity, and a lot of teenagers kind of struggle with feelings of not being good enough or feeling like they need to be a certain way in order to fit in. And I think the 20s is the perfect time to step out there, experiment, try new things, figure out what your tastes are, what you like to do, what your opinions are, what your morals are, and trying new things, but also like kind of taking stock of what you don't like, for example, and being okay with that, meaning that you're stepping outside of like the norm, that for example some of the choices you might make, some of the decisions that you want to make, some of the activities you want to partake in or not partake in might be different from what most people around you are doing, and that it is okay to step out of the norm and to step into your own. And with that in mind, my recommendation for you is actually a book that deals with all of those thematics, and that is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. I would also say Earthlings by Sayaka Murata fits in with that theme just as well. It is potentially somewhat longer than Convenience Store Woman is, but Earthlings Happiness definitely is a lot more triggering, has a lot more dark content, so Convenience Store Woman is the lighter way to go, I guess, and for a birthday recommendation I thought that this one would fit better. So Convenience Store Woman is a book about a woman who is, I don't know whether she's in her 20s or 30s already at the start of the book, she's in her 30s, and she is working at a convenience store, and everybody around her is basically kind of telling her, like, what are you still doing, living and working in the convenience store? This is a type of job that people take as a temp job, but nobody really makes a career out of this profession. However, she herself feels like this job is, you know, it fits her. This is a job that she knows how to do well. She feels comfortable in the job. She likes what she's doing. She's constantly thinking about ways to improve the convenience store, and this is really what works well for her. But as the people around her and society around her kind of enforces this idea of what she should be doing in her 30s, she kind of starts to adapt to other people and other people's expectations. However, as we see, society is never happy until you follow exactly that particular path, that particular stream, and have the exact same things, same thoughts and feelings that society expects you to have. So very much a novel talking about society and its expectations and the difficulty that can arise from trying to step outside of the norm. So I hope, if you haven't tried this one already, because I'm not entirely sure what you've read so far already, but I hope if you haven't tried this one already that you'll give it a go. It is a protagonist in her 30s, but this definitely fits what I wish for you in your 20s. So go out there, explore, try new things, but also don't be afraid to stand out and be your own person. But so yeah, with that, all I want to further wish you is another lovely day today, but also just a lovely year and lovely time. Don't know how to end this video clearly, but so yeah, good luck for you for the year to come, and yeah, talk to you over on Discord soon, I'm sure.
I love that you matched the book recommendation to the advice. Yeah, I think trying to fit in is definitely a thing that in people's teenage years could be a source of insecurity and maybe unhappiness. I think that that's definitely true. I found pretty early on that even if I tried to fit in, I didn't anyway. So, you know, I stopped consciously trying, but I think that maybe subconsciously there was still quite a bit of that going on. But yeah, I'll definitely read Convenience Store Woman. It sounds like a lovely little book. I'm actually really excited about that one. It sounds great. I'd also heard of this one before, and you know, I had been interested in, but yeah, this definitely makes me excited for it again. So yeah, thank you, Cleo, for participating, and of course we will talk soon in Discord. So next I have Jean-Bobby Kerr, who I don't think he has a YouTube channel, but we're in a few Discords together, and he also was so kind to send me a clip, so let's watch together.
Happy 20th, Kat. The book I would recommend is Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King. And my piece of advice would be to use your 20s to make as many mistakes as possible. And then when you get to your 30s, you'll realize that you've learned a hell of a lot from those mistakes.
What do you mean make mistakes? I don't do mistakes. I'm obviously perfect in every single way. Anyway, thank you for that clip. I looked up Good Vibes, Good Life. It's a self-help book, which is not a genre I tend to gravitate towards. But I'll give it a try. Let's see if it's something that I like. So yeah, thank you for sending me this clip. Next up, I have another friend she's one of my favorite channels to watch. I really love her, and I'm in our Discord, we talked, we have buddy read a couple things together already. And that's Kirsten from the channel Reading Nymph. So let's see what she has to say.
Hi Kat, thank you so much for including me in this, and happy birthday for turning 20. That's so amazing. So I know you've asked me for a book recommendation and then just a piece of life advice for your 20s, and honestly, as someone that is in my 30s now, I can honestly say 20s, just have fun with them. Just go out, have fun, make mistakes, try all those different things, and just explore and express yourself. Your 20s are for finding yourself. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but you've got this. You've got friends, everyone's there to support you. You will be great. Just go out and have fun. If you think you're a bit too nervous to do something, go and do it anyway. Just enjoy it. Enjoy every opportunity that you get, embrace it, and you will do amazingly well. I know it's kind of really cheesy, but that's honestly kind of what I wish I'd been told, that your 20s are for times of making mistakes and it's okay if you mess up a few times. Like, enjoy it all. Cheesy life advice, but it's what I would have wanted, so I hope this is okay. But we have a book recommendation for you. Technically two, because I wasn't sure if you'd read either of them potentially, so I'm just gonna say both. And honestly, I think they're both really good for reading in your 20s. So we have The Starless Sea, which I recommended because I know you really enjoyed Piranesi. This one is beautifully written. Of course it's beautifully written. It's by Erin Morgenstern, and it is just so lyrical and wonderful, and it's a story within a story within a story, but it also, at the core of it, is finding yourself. And if you're feeling a little bit lost and not sure where to go with your life, it's about that, really. We are following kind of one of the main storylines in this, the character Zachary, and he is feeling a bit aimless in his life and doesn't really know what to do. He's studying at university and he's got friends and things around him, but he still feels like he's missing something in his life. And then he stumbles across this book that has him in it, and it sets off this chain of events, and it is really surreal and wonderful and beautiful. But I think the story that it's telling and like the lesson in it is brilliant. Obviously there's so much more you can take from it, but I think just for that message alone, it's a good one. So I would recommend that. But also, just as a bonus, in case you have read The Starless Sea, I do have Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor, which is another beautiful lyrical book. And again, kind of finding yourself and accepting yourself for who you are and not worrying too much about the judgment of others. We kind of have two main characters in this one. The first one being Laszlo Strange, and he has always been seen as a very strange child. He was an orphan, and he gets this wonderful opportunity to go to this place called Weep, which is like this lost city. But people from Weep come going, we need help. Because Laszlo has specialised in the language and everything, he gets to go along, and it is the opportunity of a lifetime for him. It is his dream, and while he's there, they uncover lots of different things that's going on. And one of the other perspectives you get is from a young girl that is living in Weep, but is also kept separated. Beautiful story, amazing magic system, gorgeous writing. I think it's stunning, and again, another one that's really good to read in your 20s. I think the characters themselves, I think, are around that age. I think they're around that age. It's just gorgeous, and I love how these characters are finding themselves, finding each other, learning to connect to things, but also learning to forgive and move past things. I just think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous story. One that I should be rereading soon. This did make me cry though, so just be prepared with tissues, because I bawled my eyes out at the end of this book, like sobbing. Those are the book recommendations. That's my life advice for your 20s. I hope regardless you're gonna have an amazing time, and again, thank you so much for including me in this. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Just wishing you all the best.
Well, a cheesy life advice is the best life advice. I think that definitely my brain is like, oh, you're 20 now, you have to be an adult now, and things have to be serious now. So, you know, hearing that it's okay to just do stuff and figure stuff out and whatever, is a little liberating. And thank you for giving me two recommendations. I haven't read either of them, but I do want to. And yeah, the lyrical writing that both of them have, is always great. I do want to try them. So yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this. Also, thank you for being a wonderful YouTuber and just, you know, like being my friend and buddy reading stuff together and all that. I always really enjoy it when we do that. So yeah, thank you. The next one is actually by someone whom I found through Kirsten on our Discord, and that is Danny from Danny Dabbles. We were in Kirsten's Discord together, and so I decided to check out her channel, and she also gave me a recommendation and some advice.
Hello, Kat, and happy birthday. I hope that you are having a wonderful time getting to spend some time with friends and family and just enjoying entering your 20s. I do have a book recommendation for you, and I hope you haven't read it. If you have, let me know, and I will give you another one. But The Mask of Mirrors is my recommendation for you. This is a chonky fantasy and it is a series. And so I'm giving you some homework in your 20s because I think you shouldn't just read The Mask of Mirrors. I think you should read the entire series. But this is a Venetian fantasy world where you follow a main character, Ren, who is a con artist, and she is trying to con a noble family into giving her essentially access to their funds so she can run off with her sister and live a better life. But she ends up getting mixed up into the politics of this world and the underbelly of this society a little bit more than she wanted to. There are two main magic systems in this that are really detailed, and something I would recommend to you whenever you get into this is that there is a glossary at the back, a definition list that I would recommend using because there are so many fantastical terms in here that you're gonna need. But I also think trust the process. The first time I picked up this book, I got a little frustrated because it is a little dense, but once you get into it and really hone in on the magic systems, the characters, the found family elements in this, I think that you are just absolutely gonna love it. The piece of advice I have for you for your 20s is just have fun and don't take life too seriously. Don't settle down too quick. And I don't necessarily mean that in like a settle down and have a family type of a way, but I mean don't get in one lane and stay there. Try multiple things, whether or not that's multiple careers, multiple hobbies. Go out and, you know, join things in your community. Just figure out what you like and what makes you happy and keep those things and hold them dear to you. Don't let life prevent you from still enjoying the small things. Once again, I hope that you have a lovely birthday and that you are enjoying time with friends and family. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of it.
If there's one thing we can trust Danny with, it is with recommending the big and chunky fantasy books. Yeah, The Mask of Mirrors sounds interesting. I am definitely interested in that. And yeah, as I said with Kirsten, sometimes it's easy to sort of think that like now you have to be like an actual adult and do things and figure out stuff and settle, to use Danny's word. And so it's nice to put it into perspective and be like, I'm still young. I still have time to figure stuff out and do serious things in my life. So yeah, thank you, Danny, as well for being a part of this. The next clip will require a little bit of context. So I am in a Discord called The Fool's Tale. I think that's the name of Discord. It's hosted by Andrew Watson, who's also an YouTuber and an author as well. And within that Discord, we also have a chat with the content creators that are part of the Discord. And it is pretty much all booktubers. And then there's one person in there. His name is Steve, but I just think of him as the penguin because that's like in his Discord name and his profile picture is a penguin. And a little while back, two other people are in this Discord, Ross and Laura, who run the channel Hardy's Books. They had their booktube anniversary, and they also asked little clips from people with also their favorite book from the past year. And Steve, the penguin, he did like this super short clip where he just held up the book that he wanted and just to the title, and that was a whole clip. So to keep the meme going, that's what it did again.
Children of Time.
Children of Time. That's spacey, heavy sci-fi, which is slightly outside of my comfort zone, but it's a genre that I definitely want to read more of, so thank you for the rec. I will definitely give it a try. So the next clip is by T from the channel An Erudite Adventure.
All right, so you would like a recommendation to read in your 20s and a piece of life advice. I'll start out with the book recommendation because that's what you asked for first, and then I'll do a piece of advice at the end. So the book that I'm going to recommend that you read is A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. This is a book that is about a dragon naturalist, a person who wants to study dragons, and basically her first adventure as she goes in search of dragons. This is a very fun book. It's not super heavy in terms of themes or anything like that. It's not super epic fantasy, but it's the start of a 5-book series that if you enjoyed the first one, great. If you want to continue on, the rest of the series is great as well. I don't know if you've already read this one, but if you have, I cheated and decided to include a second recommendation, which is The Rune Lords by David Farland. This absolutely is epic fantasy. This is the first book in a 9-book series that unfortunately only the first 8 books are out, and the author passed away, so the book 9 hasn't been released, although it may be being worked on, not entirely sure. But either way, this first book is fantastic and could be read as a standalone. This is a very different type of fantasy, and I just found it to be immensely enjoyable, but it is very different. It's best really to just go into this without knowing much about it and just read it and read it for what it is. It does have one of the coolest and most disturbing magic systems I have ever read. Onto a piece of advice for your 20s. I am in the middle of my 20s. I'm 24 at the moment, and so in some ways maybe I don't have the best advice, but at the same time I'm in the middle of it, and so maybe I have a little bit different perspective. I don't know. Anyways, my piece of advice is to enjoy your 20s, enjoy the time that you have, enjoy the energy that you have, but at the same time, be very intentional with the time that you have and the things that you're doing. Of course, take time off, take whatever time you need to do the things that you need to do, but be very focused and intentional when you're doing things, working on the things that you enjoy, working on the working towards the career that you want, whatever it might be very intentional about what you're doing with that time. That is my advice. Have a great day.
So someone else who gave me 2 recommendations. Okay then, A Natural History of Dragons, which is a series that I've heard of before, and I am very interested in it. The other one, the Rune Lord Chronicles, I've never heard of before, so I'll have to check out that one, but if you say that I have to go in blind, that would be best, and I won't look up too much about it. But, you know, based on the cover, it looks like a classic epic fantasy, so I'll give it a try at some point. And then, yeah, being intentional with your time, which at first, when I saw this, I was a little worried, because I was like, is this sort of the opposite of what some other people have said? But I think that it can be, like, it doesn't have to be the opposite. I think that in trying different things, I can be intentional in what I'm trying and what I experiment with, and don't necessarily do things that I don't want to do, just because I feel like I have to do them. So I'll definitely take that with me. Then next I have a video by Kitty from Kitty and the Books. So let's see.
Hey Kat, and happy birthday. I hope you will have a wonderful day and just, do all of your favorite things for your 20th birthday. I'm here to recommend you a book and give you my life advice for your 20s. And I'm gonna start out with a book, and I have chosen Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo because this is a book that I read in my 20s and I think I really needed this in a way. This is a literary fiction book about a couple in Nigeria. They are both very well educated, and it's basically about their relationship and their dynamic as they struggle to have children. And I think this is just such an interesting look at, relationship dynamics and the sexism that is still built into our thoughts about relationships and families. So yeah, I had a great time with this. And then for my life advice, I think it's a little bit silly, but just don't take things too seriously. I think one thing I definitely did in my 20s was thinking that, this is the time where all of it gets so serious and you have to make these big life decisions. But looking back at it now, I'm like, your 30s are great too. You don't have to like cram every big important decision about your life in your 20s. So just try to keep an open mind, don't take things too seriously, and just have fun because, your 20s, they're just like one part of your life and you have so much to look forward to. And I wish you the best of luck, and yeah, have a great day.
I haven't heard of that book before, but I have heard of the author. I think that actually I heard you talking about like a different book from that author. Is that possible? I don't know. I just recognize the name. And it really sounds like a you book, Kitty. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And for the life advice as well. And yeah, if people are watching and they don't know Kitty, her channel is Kitty and the Books, and she's great, so go check her out. So the next channel is one that I haven't been watching for that long. I didn't really find her channel super long ago, so it is more a recent person I've been following, but I really love watching her videos. She's always just such a wonderful little sunshine, and I also love that she really tries to highlight other people in her channel as well, and that is Leandra over at the TBR Zero. So let's see what she has for me.
Goeiedag Kat, ik hoop dat je verjaardag geweldig is. And then I'm gonna switch back to English. Thank you so much, Kat, for inviting me to celebrate your 20th birthday. I am truly honored. And also, thank you for trusting me to provide you with 2 recommendations. One is the book I'm holding for you to read at some point in your 20s. And please let me know if you can't access this, because I'm happy to do what I can to get this into your hands. Also, the second bit of advice is for your 20s. What should you know going into your 20s that I wish I knew? Well, my recommendations go hand in hand. So I'll start with the life advice. I will say that it is a learning experience going through your 20s. I still don't know if I did my 20s right, and I am now entering my 30s, so we'll see if I learned anything entering this next decade in my life. But for your 20s, I think that's something we often forget, is to take time for ourselves. Put ourselves first. Make sure you're taking time for your hobbies and your passions, because it's very easy to get distracted with other life obligations, responsibilities, work, and trying to make money, trying to establish yourself in your community. And all of that is great, but I think at the forefront, make sure that you're happy. Be sure to maybe do a check-in every 6 months, every year around your birthday, saying, am I happy where I am? If not, what can I do to carve out more time each day or each week to make sure I'm prioritizing my happiness? So yeah, don't push your hobbies to the side. I know you can always say, oh, there will be the weekend, or oh, tomorrow I will let myself relax. Be sure to include that every single day. That's something I cannot emphasize enough, because yeah, it's something I wish I did more in my 20s. And then finally, very quickly, I think you only wanted a 1 to 2 minute video, but you know that I'm a talker. So going along with that, learning to put yourself first and providing a really good balance of making sure you're enjoying your life, I am recommending Small Miracles by Olivia Atwater. I'm sure you recognize the title because I have mentioned it quite a bit on my channel since I read it, and this is just a perfect example of characters needing to find a balance, of knowing when to be selfless and selfish, that it's okay not to be a perfect human being as long as at the end of the day you are happy, those around you are happy, and you just take every day one step at a time. So I can't recommend it enough. This is probably deemed a bit of an urban fantasy. It has angels. The fallen angel of petty temptations is assigned a human who is really trying to figure out that balance, and the angel ends up helping her do that while also learning some stuff along the way. So please, please, please read this book, and like I said, I will help you find a copy if I need to. So yeah, I will talk to you later. Bye, Kat. Da. Oh, and happy birthday again.
She's adorable, and she started in Dutch. Queen? I'm very impressed with your pronunciation as well. Especially your key is really good. So yeah, thank you for that recommendation. I have definitely heard you talk about Small Miracles and gushing about Small Miracles. And I think I'll be able to find a copy. Like, I may have to wait until there's a sale or something, because I checked and they're quite expensive, but it's fine. But thank you so much for being part of this, and just, yeah, I really, really love her channel. So if you don't follow her already, Leandra the TBR0 is just a great channel and a lovely person. I'm surprised that you didn't recommend me a mystery though, because you're a mystery reader most of the time. But yeah, I'm very happy with that. Next, I have a clip from Jeroen from the channel Walking with Books, which he, in this case, takes quite literally.
Hello Kat, and already happy birthday. You asked for a recommendation or a book recommendation, so I will give you the Rorschach texts by Stephen Hall. Yeah, I'm literally walking outside now, so walking with books is literally walking with books now. Why I think you should read this book. First of all, the story is great. There's some real weird things happening in the book itself. Yeah, it's just an experience, and this book didn't get as much recognition as House of Leaves, which is also a very weird book, but in my opinion this book is way better. And also for some advice in your 20s, For in your 20s, the friends you'll make are there for the rest of your life. So if you get some new friends, please make sure they're the ones that are worth it, and that will give you energy instead of draining all your energy. And second life advice I will give you is trust your instincts. I didn't, and well, it didn't help me. So please do that. And if you have some goals you want to do within your 20s without work being or taking up way too much time, please do them. As you want to travel or whatever, please do it in your 20s, because when you have to work and you have all other verplichtingen, they'll take up a lot of time, and you will have less time for the fun things you want to do in life. So that's it. Yet again, happy birthday and have a lovely day. And what I may have forgotten to tell you about this book, there's an animal companion in it and you will love it.
House of Leaves plus an animal companion? Sign me up. Hadn't heard of this book before, but I definitely want to try it after the way you pitched it. And yeah, the friends thing. I value friendship very highly. It's something that I find very important. So yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind for when I interact with people, make friends, and whatnot. So thank you, Jeroen, for being part of this. So next is another channel that I've been really loving watching over the past few months. It is run by two people who are a couple, which is why they titled their channel Bookworm Couple. So we have Liz and Robbie, and Liz is a romantasy reader and also just contemporary romance, and Robbie is a more adult epic fantasy reader, and they read some stuff together. They have a thing where they let the other person read their favorite in their genres. So Liz is working her way through Wheel of Time, and Robbie is reading Sarah J. Maas. And then they also just read stuff on their own, and I really love their channel and just the way they talk about books. I think they're very eloquent in that regard, and so whenever I finish a book that I've also read, one of the first things I do is go to their channel, and then they can tell me what I was already thinking and wasn't able to put into words. I mean, I don't always agree on everything because that's not possible, of course, but very often I do. And so yeah, I really love watching them, and they were so kind to also be part of this. So let's watch.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Hi, I'm Liz.
I'm Robbie. We are the Bookworm Couple. We wanted to wish Kat a happy birthday.
We're so honored to have been asked to make a video.
Yes, we're thrilled.
For your 20th birthday.
I know, it's so exciting.
Such a good time.
Yes, I think so. So you asked for a book and a piece of advice for your 20s. So do you want to start with a book?
Yeah, so we actually had a hard time thinking about this, because I think both him and I kind of lost our bookwormishness in our 20s. Not necessarily purposefully, but I think I got a little too serious about life. This book particularly I picked up in my late 20s, and it still is a game changer for me, something that I'm now rereading in my early 30s.
It is not fantasy, which is
It is not a fantasy book, which I think we were both trying to come up with because that's what we read most. Our recommendation for a book to read in your 20s is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This book it's about magic and real human life magic. And there's so many real life examples about finding your magic, seeing life for the magic that it brings forth, because it's always not what you think it is, or it doesn't necessarily look like a fantasy novel or anything like that. So I think this is such a great invitation of a book to allow your creative magic to come forth, and I think that is so important for your 20s. And a piece of advice for your 20s.
Yeah, embrace change. The 20s are the time of your life to, try out different things, live different places, make new friends, be a different person every day. Mess up. There's going to be a lot of time later in life to, hone in and be like, this is exactly who I am. Change up who you are as much as you want. Lots of changes come in your 20s.
Be someone different every day. Wear something different every day.
Yeah, exactly. Figure out what you like. Find your rhythm.
Yeah.
And that's what your 20s are for.
Experiment. Try new things. Yeah.
It'll be scary sometimes. It'll be weird. But that's what it's for.
You don't have to fit in a box.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't have to have it all done by your 20s. Your 20s are just the beginning.
Yeah.
And so to look at it like a beautiful ramp for the rest of your life is great. Be a kaleidoscope and experience all different facets of who you are, who you can be, who you want to be, who you might not want to be, all the things. Just go into all of those different parts of yourself and express it, live it, try it.
Yeah, and that goes for reading as well.
100%.
Read all the genres you want to figure out which ones you like the best. Yeah, that's our advice. That's a book. Yeah. Again, happy birthday. This is so awesome. Thanks for asking us to do this.
Hope it's the best. Okay, bye!
Big Magic, another self-help book. I'll check it out. As I said in the video, like at first I was a little surprised that it wasn't a fantasy book. But then it also kind of makes sense to me, especially because Liz, I found it actually out through this because in the email that she sent me there was a link to it. I think it was like part of like a signature there or something, that she has another like lifestyle vlog channel, which is just the most beautiful and whimsical and magical thing ever. So it kind of makes sense actually, once I'd found that. So yeah, I'm subscribed to that now too. But yeah, thank you so much for being part of this. I will definitely also take the advice at heart, to just be a different person, I guess. Because so far I've seen like try new things, which I've mostly interpreted as just experiences, but also just try new identities and who I want to be and stuff like that, which I definitely would love to try as well. Next, I have another booktuber who, like I've always been aware of her and I watched a video of her here and there, but I've only quite recently started to like truly interact with her in a meaningful way, and that is Rebecca Nicole. So let's watch her clip.
Happy birthday! The most happiest of birthdays, and I hope you have a wonderful decade ahead of you. My two pieces of advice that have helped me the most in my 20s is no is a complete sentence, and you are only responsible for your emotions and your reactions, because those are the things that you can have the most control over. You are not responsible for other people's emotions and reactions because you can't actually control those things. So that's what's helped me the most in my 20s, learning to set boundaries and learning how to manage your own emotions and no one else's. My book recommendation for you is A Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I think you will enjoy this one. I have really enjoyed this one. This is about a girl who grows up in a magical library, and this is one of the most unique magical libraries I have seen. Each of the books have their own personalities. Some of them are grumpy and will barely talk to you and will like mutter under their breath, and other ones are like singing opera all the time. It is glorious. We also have sorcerers in this world, and the sorcerers derive their power from demons. So they bind this demon to them with this magical contract, and then they use the demon's power in order to perform magic. Because of this, our protagonist thinks that these sorcerers are evil, and she's heard terrible stories about them. But she ends up meeting a sorcerer and having to go on a journey with him and discovering that he is nothing like she was told. I absolutely enjoyed this story, and I hope you will too.
That sounds wonderful. I mean, opera singing books. Sign me up. Like, I definitely want to try this after your pitch. Any advice? No is a complete sentence. I definitely am a little bit too much of a pleaser sometimes, which actually my real friend and I talked about that earlier this week. I'm being called out here, and I don't like it. But yeah, that is definitely something that I need to work on a little bit sometimes. And so, yeah. Thank you so much for being part of this. Everyone, check out her channel. I think when this will come out, we'll still be buddy reading Deirdre of Terror 2 together. So, I'll talk to you in the Discord about that, definitely, and probably about other stuff as well. But yeah, so thank you for being a part of this. So the next one is by Alan from the Library of Alexandria, who is someone that I've been watching for quite a while now, is someone that I really look up to, and I really love his channel. He always has great things to say. And I love just his excitement whenever he talks about a book that he likes or about a topic that he's passionate about. He completely, is just excited and passionate, and you can tell, and it just jumps off the screen. And I really love that about him. And in true Alan fashion, he forgot part of the assignment, so he sent me 2 clips. So I'll just play them back to back.
Ahoy! Alan here. First of all, happy birthday. And I literally just now, while going to film this, realized that you're turning 20. And I thought you were older than that already. I don't read well, or when I read quickly, comprehension is poor. At any rate, happy birthday. As far as books to read, I mean, I don't know. Folding Knife by K.J. Parker is not a book I would have understood prior to my 20s. I think probably the most impactful book I read in my 20s was one of my textbooks as a political science major, The Tragedy of Great Power Politics by John Mearsheimer, which is just a depressing book about the more Hobbesian look at geopolitics and hegemony, about how nation states are always, their default state is war, which, you know, I mean, I don't like, but I liked it better than the ideas that change the world, which is more Lockean. So yeah, that's depressing, but I mean, I don't know. If geopolitics is not something you enjoy, you should not read that. Folding Knife, though, definitely, because I was definitely too dumb to understand Folding Knife. I wouldn't have found banking interesting. So yeah, happy birthday. And sorry this is late, because I am physically incapable of doing anything on time, because I have task anxiety, I guess, and was sick all weekend. Anyway, happy birthday. Also, and hopefully we can edit this in, because I just forgot the other part of the assignment. My advice for your 20s is you don't have to know exactly what you want to do with your life in your 20s. I did not figure out what I was doing in my life till I was 30. Now, that doesn't make me feel any better when I was in my 20s. But you know, you don't have to. Basically, don't follow other people around in your 20s. Just you know, do things that you enjoy. Like if you're in college, study things that you enjoy. Most people don't work in their field, but you know, I mean, while you're in your 20s and have less responsibilities, you should study and learn stuff that you like before the massive responsibilities and the weight of time and death begins to weigh on you in your 30s. Takes that ability away from you. So, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I think I own a folding knife. I own a few KJ Parkers on ebook that I bought fully under the influence of Alan, because he loves that author. But I don't know exactly which ones, but I think the folding knife is among them. So I own that. And then the other depressing geopolitics book sounds like a fun old time, some light bedtime reading. Yeah, I'll read it, like, I'll have to be in a good headspace for that, because I just find it depressing a lot of the time, but you know, I'm willing to give it a try. So yeah, Alan recommending Parker is kind of predictable. I should have guessed that. And the advice of don't follow people around is also classic Alan. So yeah, I'll definitely take that to heart, and thank you so much for being part of this.
First off, happy birthday, Kat. I hope I'm saying your name right, but happy birthday. And the general life advice I'm going to give you first is give less fucks. Your life will just go by so much better if you just don't give a fuck. My mum's the perfect example of that. The next advice, advice? Words. The book I'm going to recommend you is going to be The Stormlight Archive, because it's very much focusing on mental health, it's on that found family, and it gives you, the community is pretty cool as well, but it generally just gives you this kind of, almost like you're going through a journey and you come out the other side almost feel like you're a different person, and I feel like it's for the better. So I know they're big books, but trust me on this, The Stormlight Archive, you will be a completely different person after reading them.
I swear I did not plan this, but like, I watched all these clips in advance just to know what they were, and like the day before I watched Mira's clip, I went to the library and got The Way of Kings. So I don't know if I'll actually read it right now, because I've borrowed this book a couple times now, but and then returned it unread. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I do want to give it a try. I've been wanting to give it a try for a long time. So yeah, thank you for the rec and for the permission to just not give a fuck about stuff. So yeah, thank you, Mayor, for sending me something as well. Next up, we have Cams, who sent me this.
Hey Kat, happy birthday! So you're looking for a book recommendation for your 20s. I'm going to go with A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. It's a spiritual novel. It's a very moving novel. A tale, American literature, tale of friendship and a young boy with an annoying voice. So if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. It's one of my all-time favourites, and it's quite Christmassy as well, so It's a good time of year to be looking at that novel. And a piece of advice for your 20s, I'm going to say, and this is as much for me as it is for you, don't worry what people think of you. Just be the best version of yourself. I'm pointing at me here. Keep your side of the street clean, and then no one can take anything away from you. And what other people think of you, that's on them. So, happy birthday.
A prayer for Owen Meany. I have never heard of this before, but it sounds like a Cam's book. And then not caring what people think. I've been trying to get better at this over the past few years, but I'm definitely not there yet. But I've been working on that, and I hope to continue working on that, and maybe at some point be in a position where that is another thing that I, as Mir said, don't give a fuck about. So yeah, thank you as well to be part of this. And then last but absolutely not least is a channel that I've been watching for years now. I think that it's the channel I've been watching the longest out of every YouTube channel ever. And she is also a person that really inspires me and that I really look up to, and when she drops a video, I drop everything I'm doing to go watch it and just check her out. And that is Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. So she was also so kind to send me something.
Happy birthday, Kat! Hi, this is Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Thank you so much for asking me to do this. It was really interesting to sit and think about what advice I would give to somebody heading into their 20s as somebody who's nearing 40. And I think the biggest thing that I would say is just try things, explore, travel if you can, have fun, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to have everything figured out, because it's totally normal not to. And this is a great time in life to try stuff you've never done before. Get outside of your comfort zone a little bit and, you know, try something you've always wanted to. Don't let fear get in the way of that, and don't get feeling like you have to have all your ducks in a row get in the way of that. Because I think your 20s is a time for learning and growth and exploration. So enjoy it. I think it's a great time. And the book that I decided to recommend to you is one of my favorites. This is a fantasy book called The Queens of Innis Lear by Tessa Gratton. It is a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear about three sisters, and it's messy and complicated, and they're all very different. It's queer in elements, which is not surprising because Tessa Gratton is queer, and so I appreciate that about it. I think the writing in this is really gorgeous, and I also think that it does a good job of thinking about what does it mean to be a woman? What are different ways it might look to be a woman as you're getting older. So that's my recommendation for you. I hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful birthday, and thanks again for asking me to do this.
Thank you so much for that. Again, like a couple of the people have said the trying things thing, so I'm not gonna get into it again, but thank you for that. And then The Queens of Innis Lear. I have heard of that book before, but I haven't tried it. I also am not very familiar with the story of King Lear, like as a non-native English speaker living in a non-English speaking country. Like, I know who Shakespeare is, and like I know stuff about Shakespeare, and we read a little bit of Hamlet in my English class, but it's not like I know every play of his and what it's about and whatever. But I'll give the book a try. I'll see what it gives. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who contributed to that video. I am very impressed as well with the recommendations that have been given. I don't think anyone gave me something that I've already read, which great. Also, I give people a pretty hard time sometimes because I just give no parameters for the recs. I just said recommend me a book, and they all did a great job. And just, yeah, thank you so much to everyone who sent something in to want to be part of this. And yeah, check people out. They will be linked down below. I don't know how to end this video, but I am so immensely grateful to have found people to, you know, to watch and look up to, and also to have found friends. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy right now, and happy birthday to me.